Hey guys, I'm Head Too Loud, and we're gonna be doing a playthrough of Citizen Sleeper. I did like kind of a tiny little playthrough, didn't finish the game, and I actually really like it, and I decided why not kick my YouTube channel back off with like this game, because I'm having a lot of fun with it. Why not? Yeah. At the end of this playthrough, I'm gonna do like a critique and review of the entire game and all of its characters, the storytelling, all that shit. So stick around for that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I I have a hard time choosing these because they only have two base skills. Like one's a positive, one's a negative, and I don't always know what kind of experiences I'm gonna encounter. So it like trips me up big time. My first playthrough I did the machinist and I did pretty good for a while there. Um let's go with the different one for sure. Curved photosynthetic skin. Oh shit, I had to wait to get that. Efficient extractor. Transfer intercepts. That gets me more cryo on interaction or interface interactions. And then sunbathe, energy recovery. I can get that later on, but the sooner I can get this perk, the better, dude. So we're gonna start the game as an operator. Doo 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 doo. Alright. Where are you? Unknown. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Alright, think of that body or forget that body. I'm gonna go with think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought. Blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in behind you and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dull nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message, delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning, delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the plan or remember the others. I'm gonna remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock, even if in the airless hold of a freighter solid long before you reach any destination. Wait for the cold or try to rest. I'm gonna try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of your damaged legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of impossibility to begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth, not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor, sound too, everywhere screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks, your hearing to protecting sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You're out. Okay, now we actually get into some fucking gameplay. Like, he had to read through the whole epilogue just to get into this. Alright, so this game is set up on this fucking ring, kind of like the Halos in Halo. Or the way the Citadel looks in Mass Effect 3 when you're actually like in the main area of it, where it curves instead of the like big fucking wings. Man, I'm gonna play Mass Effect next, actually. Okay. A pragmatic Dragos, a pragmatic and private salvage. This dude, I think, looks pretty fucking cool. He seems like he could be worse for wear, but he's like kicking it, trying to thrive in a capitalist hellscape, you know? Pretty much like what everyone's trying to do in their daily life, like, you know? It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost, or stay silent? I'm gonna go with almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New friends must have better perseverance and Sub-Zero back. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to whole plates or inside-outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in a memory for a moment, or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. Okay. I plan to survive. What happened to them, or stay silent? I'm gonna go with the curious option. He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, but I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. They are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their... fuck. I completely missed that comma. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away toward the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? This station, you'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you are welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the Rex. His drone's already converging at a rusting halt. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright. Tutorial time. Welcome to Erlen's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Oof. Is it gonna highlight? Thank you. Alright. End cycle. Slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape, getting answers, building a life. Getting answers. It all matters. The past is impossible to escape if it remains a blur. What SNR did to you cannot be forgotten. You need a way of understanding all this before you can move on. Where are you? What is this place? What happened to the others? The questions outnumber the answers. You want to change that, but you'll have to learn to survive first. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container: the mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets, is it sachets or sachets? Or like sachet? I don't know, man. Smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, its skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images. It is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Alright. Tutorial: condition, action, dice, and energy. 1. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by 1 segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. 2. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you'll be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Alrighty. That just means I'll die super fast. Alright. Dragos again. Dragos is standing on the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay or not good? I'm not gonna lie to him. I'm fucking dying. Oh shit, son. Fuck. Oh, I forgot how long it takes for me to get the shit. Oh man, this is gonna be a doozy. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna sit up because I feel weird leaning back. Alright. Here. That's good. The drone chirps, Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses, so I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Work? Sure. Alright then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down and sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Got it. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Happy to. Okay, he pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you are feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. When he nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Alrighty. Okay, so there's the low end gate, and that is 60 cryo. I have 0 cryo. So that's gonna take a while. Yeah, I already know about stick them in the fucking thing. Let's see. Engineer, I don't have any. Start action. Yeah, okay. So these little fucking bars that fill up around the circle, those are blocks. The more work I do, the yellow ones fill up. The more time that passes, the red ones fill up. Or the Morris dealership, the one right next to me. Oh, drives. Okay, yeah. This, here, let me move my face out of the way. Drives here. My two drives are Repay Dragos and Survive. So my current primary objective is to Repay Dragos because I don't have access to the fucking markets yet. Okay, that was fucking crazy. My audio started glitching the hell out. Put that dot in there. Oh, okay. 15 cryo for high-end results. Probably like 10 for low. Yeah. Okay, so Dogs 4, Helion Crossing. New dog plans are smaller than that. Oh, fucking already died. Alright, Bright Market. We're gonna have to explore the Bright Market for a while before we can expand on the Survive quest. The shipyards, that's something else. Alright. Since I don't have any more dye, I'm gonna end the cycle. Fucking shit. I forget how long it takes to like get really anywhere in the game. Oh shit. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station that's shifting skeletal ring surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. When the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of change and then extensions. You feel your thoughts slipping away downward, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Touching. You find a point in the station and you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try, in a moment of impulsiveness, to connect to them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you, insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connected nodes waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Alrighty, I'm starving. I need, fucking shit. I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. Let's hit with that. Okay, here we go, baby. Alright, this dude is cool as shit. I love him. His name is Enfys. Enfys is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red fleck dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chips rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Approach or watch? Tails I watch, heads I approach. Let's try it again. Oh shit. Alright, here we go. Okay. It is Tails. Despite the cue, Empus doesn't rush. He addresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl, torn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Empus remains steady in his process. After a while, the cue fades to black into the crowd, and Empus sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you, watching him. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? Nod. He gestures neatly. Come over. The smell is unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Empus says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you had once had but you can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. I think they meant to type trail off right there, but kind of missed it. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Why the fuck did I say hand? In your hand. Next time we can talk some more. He smiles, but next time you pay. He slams a heavy hand against the button on the burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearm, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Hell yeah, dude. I'm not fucking starving anymore. Alright, and as for the doctor, you have block. Next comes a call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway and towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decay Havelock, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve, but your options are few, and without a supply stabilizer, this body, your body, will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. The enforcer is looking down the corridor, and you dare to glance at him. His purpose is unmistakable. He is there to intimidate, to threaten, and if necessary, carry out those threats. His broad shoulders are framed with a metal exoskeleton. A couple of mirror-like implants sit below his eyes, like mercury teardrops. Subsidiary sense input or aesthetic markers, you aren't sure. But you also aren't familiar with the geometric blade-like tattoo on his forearm, but you make a note of it. You avert your eyes when he looks back at the cue. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing up through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in a warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market-sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above. And for a moment, you are transfixed by the motion. Come sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit, they gesture to the bed. Gesture? What the fuck, dude? Gesture, I hardly know her. Please sit, they gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They asked, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm gonna start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNR doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, brains as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They've built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Brains decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNR remains the sole producer of. They look up, sound familiar. Yeah. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again. They stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They're influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, attend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan has connections, smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Thank you. Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Brilliant. And now we have a fucking clock for this. It's gonna take 3 cycles, so I guess I'll just fuck off and do whatever. Okay. Bars. Maxed out my energy and got the fungus man thing. Alright. Let's go with full dissection. Die because I don't have the bonus sentences yet. Alright, one more, we're good. Alright, let's end this cycle. Fuck. My streaming software is using 50% of my CPU. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring, through these forms that leap off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information and communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Let's see, focus on the threads or focus on the nodes? Threads is heads, nodes is tails. Tails again. Nodes are glassy, bright in all this flow, but only solid at fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle. Dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. Before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There's so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see 2 lines, 2 threads pulling in different directions as if they were tied around you. The first thread leads out away from the station and then inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows. And this time you see something, a sphere, shimmering above a strange, angular body. A pull shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch being tested, tasting. You open your eyes, time is short. Okay, let's see. That's what, like 9 cycles? Okay, yeah, wow. He knows, baby. Oh shit, actually, fuck, oh wait. What the fuck happened? Okay, there we go. Doing this shit gets me more money. Provided I have the right die for the input. Having a Jane agent. That's all I'm getting. I need to talk to some other guy. into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across the vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across the scorched hole plates and bent structures, spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. She is. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Drago's for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think what became of its crew. What happened? What do you mean? He glances at you. I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. That's what happened. No, what happened to the ship? Not my concern, he shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside the container, the wreck of the Essex freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was it the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into the strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Drago squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side. Winter Light. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Nice, dude. Okay, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, I know it. Wait, what the fuck is that? Oh, Dragos is nervous. Drago seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure he's going to hold his nerve much longer. That's a cycle clock, so I better get a fucking work on investigating this shit. Alright. What am I investing points into? Agent nodes give double data rewards. I feel like, wait, I need to consider what I am going to get to begin with. If I go with Engage, I can get Obsessive Haggler faster and I get 20% discounts on everything. But if I go with Efficient Extractor, I can get Self-Repair, and I can use Scrap to repair my condition. Fuck, man. I'm gonna go with Thrill Seeker. Because I can get energy that way and I don't have to spend a shit ton of money. Alright. Now that we've upgraded. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor toward you. Sleeper, wait up. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He put a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. It's just... Wait, I've seen you hanging around. Just want to chat. You staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlen said? The eye opens for us all. Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. pass together into the main walkway. Havanich, we are all one dysfunctional family. The Fang puts an arm around you. I'm not part of the security branch, though, don't worry. I'm with systems. Havanich. Think of us as an administrative association for the Eye. Depending on who you talk to, we either emerge as a response to or a continuation of Andre Erland's original union. He smiles. Personally, I agree with the topic. He stops you in a quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I've been seeing some unusual network activity, and while I know a little about you sleepers, I have a small proposition for you. He glances around. This is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare. Then, when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Alright, new fucking quest line. I'm gonna go ahead and unlock access the low end. That way I can get more shit. I've been recording for 47 minutes so far. This is gonna be one hell of a video to edit. Oh, nice. Sleeper, Fang catches your attention as you approach the Havanage building, leaning against the bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach, easier to come in this way, security and all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams the button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind it. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up with generators and diagnostics lights and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blend into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Fang leans on a server stack and gestures around. You like it? It's a mess. It's incredible. What is all this? I'm gonna go with it's incredible. He smiles widely. I thought you'd say that. He taps a nearby server stack, which beeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to a towering block speckled with vents. Some of these systems are from the original station. Fuck, I don't know how to pronounce that. The one Soline built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we've never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they're seeing a concrete reality, but this place is a system in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. We're keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new. Dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops. At least that's what I am trying to do. He turns back to face you among the flickering machines, humming all around. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections, you can't you? I can see it. It makes sense, right? You're between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though. They're tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see, access protocols lost in time and decay, secrets, a shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place, break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in the Havanage, there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back into the bad old days. You can help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours. He winks. What do you say, Sleeper? I'm in. Fang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift. He smiles. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gate and you'll be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use that emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Goes above. He nods at the ceiling. They've granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, Sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking back out into the passage. Those flickering lights still in the back of your mind. Okay, so I need to... There's the solar panel. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you and tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant... You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown. Astrogen. Processing. Resist. You struggle against the thread and it tightens in response. A glittering cheroot. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment, and then it is gone. It fades. You see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What are you? This shape paces around on the live legs, though there is no ground to pace on. Entity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you, expectantly. I don't understand. Sentience questionable. The figure's strange head rotates, brackish signature, of and not of, attempting to interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking, vine like ribbons that flex and wave, they approach with intent. Run. You kick off and glide away through the cloud, and the threads surging after like predatory tentacles. They follow, wrapping the space around you until you are held within a web. A tangle of tentacles closing in. Stop. Hunter halts its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. correct. You're an entity. Although once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste, the one from the sealed dog. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. I don't understand. Entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You lash out with all your force, not a physical strike, but a focusing. A spike of interference leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. Wake up. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Hell yeah. Fucking epic battles, dude. Fucking beat this shit out of a crazy ass galaxy dog. Tentacles. Yoink. Thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like cat's eyes in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark, and you push for the sheeting into the surgery. I have it. Sabine stands with a case open in front of them, a set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yatagan they trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it really is what it appears to be. I don't care. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we need to be careful. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant and transplant operation, in that it stops your body from protecting an unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your brain, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which act as passcodes within your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your brain from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. It glints away, at least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses a syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection but with little response. A sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white and then it returns. Sabine appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in a chair by the window, facing away from you, backlit by the glow of your slave. Awake? What happened? The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down, beside the bed. I don't know how you got acquired a case of the stuff, but they did. Sabine looked troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. They gestured to the door. I have other patients, sorry. Sabine nods toward the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room, and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have moved or shifted. You wonder how long you have been out. Sabine, nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander out to the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Any more scenes I need to complete? Nah. Looks like we're all good. And we're stable because we got the 5. So we'll get more time. Instead of just the 3 that I've been getting. Fucking stuff. And I got absolutely fucked on that front. What the fuck, man? 3 one-eyes? Are you kidding? I don't have any boosts. All my shit is neutral. Well, except for like transfer, intercept, but everything else is fucking neutral, bro. Fuck. That sucks, man. Let's fucking chow down, I guess. New story arc, but I gotta fucking put all my shit into this guy. Please actually work this time. Oh, yes. Let's fucking go. Okay, anyway. Oh, shit. Sleeper, Memphis calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, the fire leaping out beneath the oil. I see you, cycle and cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. Well, one of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spice is rich in your nostrils, and you think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Memphis. You look at Memphis, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with spice. Tell him about your dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Memphis, had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray skeletal after images of systems and structures and threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through air. You tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps you reason it is just some side effect, or a particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Memphis finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You're quite a storyteller. He eyes you and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Memphis passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the emptying market, but my time is done for today, and I do not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind his stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think. A couple of cycles ago, they said that across the gap in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No. Neither had I, but I trust the one who told me. Emphas begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I am sure a storyteller like you can handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good, booms Emphas. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphas slides his walk away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphas's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food. You think a trade seems more than fair. Bars. Let's see. Let's see if some of these die. He's probably gonna wind up on the watch list. Alright, okay. The one eye just gives me negatives. Give me something good. Come on. Give me something good. Oh shit. Oh, holy fuck. Oh, wow. The hunter is already that close? What the fuck? You eased into the entrance of the office to the yard. You lay out everything you have on the winter light. Across the metal desk, your makeshift forensic notes glow on Dragos' old writing slate, overlapping lines and scrawled annotations. A set of drone scans filled a small terminal with a spectrum of colors, a heat map of damage and decay. A crumpled printout from the office's ship registry lies beside them, synthetic paper so thin it is almost transparent. Look at the monitor. Reactor failure. That is the verdict that anyone would have returned after a cursory glance at these stacked heat maps and the remains of the winter light. On the terminal screen, the ship is shown in section, blotches of color marking the approximate damage the ship sustained. Dominating the view is a single blood red rose, radiating from the ship's fractured drive, a simple story, a catastrophic failure of the drive core leading to a fatal hull breach, a well-documented failure, likely brought on by wear and misuse. But you weren't looking at the rose of the reactor, you were looking at a smaller, paler mark, one that might be easy to miss at first glance. It is thumbprint-sized, and delicately placed over the control servos for the ship's main external lock. It suggests a controlled, shaped explosion, one designed to punch through the hole and allow access to the airlock from the outside. You are looking at it because it is troubling you. Your attempts at a reconstruction of the winter light before its fatal accident consist of a series of overlapping sketches and diagrams, showing possible layouts and configurations of the gutted cutter. This was no off-the-shelf model. It was heavily modified, parts replaced with inventive configurations. The new retrofitted into the old. Handmade joints and reconditioned filters. This was someone's pride and joy, a lifetime project kept running with care and intuition. It also contained a set of hidden compartments. You missed them at first. where the hole had been thickened, the corners rounded to disguise the change, but they're there. A plain lift shows the registration of history of the Winter Light. The gaps between the entries tantalizingly opaque. Its first registration was a couple of thousand cycles ago, on this very station, logged at the central hub. From here, the registry tells the story of a busy ship, one that rarely stayed on station for more than a few cycles, and often took on voyages that kept it away from the eye for up to 100 cycles. The Winter Light got little rest. An old ship, many cycles under its belt, carefully maintained, a reactor failure preceded by a carefully concealed external entry. A suite of hidden compartments tucked away. This was the Winter Light, and this was its story. But that's not the full story, because there's something else. It is little more than a list, a tiny chunk of data you were able to pull from the ship's systems. The main systems were fried, of course, but the Winter Light had a separate system, one tucked away in one of its hidden compartments, armored and air-walled. This list, the only recoverable piece from the whole system, is a partial inventory. It details the contents of the hidden compartments. Some of it you recognize, some of it you don't. Shipline ROMs, shimmer, cryo-chain codes, and then the final entry, passenger, sleeper. You stare at the list on the terminal and try not to think about what it was like arriving here, in the cold for so long, half frozen in the freight container. Had this sleeper been smarter, luckier? How had they convinced the Winter Light in a smuggler's ship, if you ever saw one, to extract them from SNR? Luckier, you laughed. There had been no remains found in any of the Winter Light's compartments. You had checked. They weren't so lucky, you guess, not in the end. You hold up a vial of stabilizer to the light. This was all you find in the compartment. A parting gift from SNR. Well, it won't go to waste now. You put it back in your pocket. The thought still bothers you, though. 2 ships carrying sleepers coming into the same yard. 2, one after the other. That feels wrong. You flick back and forth between data sets on the terminal and thinking, and you see that thumbprint again, the mark of someone trying to get in, someone who entered the Winter Light with precision and speed when they were done. The reactor, and when they were done, left the reactor to clean up the rest. The thought of that person makes you shiver. Suddenly, the office door creaks open. Drago stands in the doorway, staring at the equipment and notes you have assembled. What is all this? He snatches the slate from the desk, faster than you realized he could do. You're running an investigation here? What am I paying you for? The drone on his shoulder starts whining shrilly, his anger passing to it through his implants. Where's this ship from? Leave this alone. He starts shaking his head. I know you have a lot of questions, but this isn't the way. He turns away, muttering to himself, this is the last thing I need. This ship had a sleeper on it. Dragos freezes, suddenly angry. What did you say? He pushes past you to look at the terminal and the list. He shakes his head. So what? Aren't all of you trying to escape? You're lucky it was you that made it out alive, not them. He folds his arms indignantly. Drago seems to steady himself and then turns back to you, the heat map of the reactor failure reflected in his headset's glassy eyes. I've given you a place to stay. I've given you work. He stumbles over the words, unsure of what to say. There's plenty others who would have sold you on, turned you in, but no, not me. I know. He softens. Look, you've helped me too. He quiets the drone. I've done well by you, and you've returned the favor. He strains up and clears his throat. But this obsession you have with this trip isn't going to work for me. I can't have you making my clients nervous. I can't have you digging up whatever it is you are after. He sighs. You can't work here anymore. He reaches over and switches the monitor off. Forget about the damn ship. You have enough to keep you up. Dragos reaches across you and flicks off the terminal as the light of the monitor dies with a kind of eerie calm flows off. What the fuck? Dragos reaches across you and flicks off the terminal as the light light of the monitor dies, a kind of eerie calm falls on both of you. Whatever this was, it is done. You made it out, Sleeper, and that means you have to move on. Someone killed that ship and its crew, and you want to meet them? He shakes his head. We're done here. In the dark, Dragos headset glints, and you wish for a moment you could see his eyes and meet them. Maybe then he would understand. You get up from the desk and Dragos gathers the notes, stuffing them into a pocket of his overalls. He holds the door for you, his headset as expressionless as always. You can stay in the container. I won't take that from you. Don't come back. His tone final, definite, with an edge of disappointment. You walk out of the office and then out of the yard, not stopping to look back. You leave the yard, thumbing the vial in your pocket, knowing that this, at least, guarantees you a little more time. And as you walk, your mind once again drifts to that person who killed the Winter Light, and whether or not that person will come for you. Upgrade point! Hell yeah, dude. Shit. Let's put one in engage, have that be a positive. Alright, I have 2 more die. Let's go to the shipyard and do some fucking construction. Okay, I think I'm going to end this cycle. Yeah, doesn't look like there's anything else to do, and I don't have any more die. Shit. Alright guys, that is it for episode 1 of Citizen Sleeper. What is today? Let's see. Today is Friday. I'll try to be consistent with Friday recordings, probably upload by Sunday, cause it's gonna take a while to edit. This shit's like an hour and 17 minutes long. But anyway, if you like this, like the video, comment, subscribe, that kind of thing. Peace.